Welcome back to my Let's Play Minecraft. This is Minecraft Quests with SRJ26. We just got out of the Buried City quest, where we went underground and discovered a buried city being held up by another giant. And this episode may be short, but I'm going to go and show you the outside of the buried city and talk a little bit about how I built it. Because it looks, or it was meant to look like it was actually this gigantic underground, cave that was excavated. And I actually do that in a later episode. There's a later one that I actually did do an underground excavation. But this one was not. What I actually did was I came out here and I found a cliff face, one of those beautiful flat cliff faces that I think that's where I want to go. Yes. A cliff face. And I flattened out the land in front of it, and then I built a city. And I built in the open air, and I built a statue. And then what I did was I covered it in a nice layer of dirt. So this slightly off-shaped hill here, well, this is our buried city. Let me actually... So, it doesn't look much like a city. And in fact, it looks rather pastoral. But I assure you, if you dig deeper, let me just get some dirt out. If we dig deeper, there's a city down there. So you can see, try not to fall, that is the buried city. These divots right here, this is where his fists are, or his hands are holding up the earth. So there's one hand and there's the other hand. And one of the reasons I wanted to show this to you is I wanted to tell you about the experience of building it. It was really neat. It was really fun to, I used graph paper to sketch out the statues because it works really well for Minecraft, surprisingly enough, or not very surprisingly at all. And I mapped out the city a little bit, not to every block, but I tried to sketch it out and get a good idea of what I was trying to do. And I built it all, and then I started building the embankments, and that was hard. I built the embankments on the side, and I just slowly built it up, and I wanted it to look like a hill, so you wouldn't actually realize what it was from the distance. And I slowly built it up, and then I got up to the top, and then obviously the trees weren't on it yet. I was putting the dirt carpet up here. And I decided as I was doing it that I was going to do one final walkthrough. So I was putting the last blocks on it, and I had a hole up here somewhere, right near where the top of the door is, and where you come out and then go down the stairs on the cliff face. And so I had a hole up here that I was going to go into, and my final walkthrough after I sealed it off was that I was going to walk through and go out just the way we just did in the previous episode, just the way we went out the back of the temple. And so I'm putting the last blocks in place, and as I'm looking down, there weren't really any lights in there yet. Let me just make sure. I always scan around myself for monsters, like a paranoid person. And I'm putting the last blocks in place, and I'm looking, and as I'm covering it up, I'm seeing like dozens and dozens of spiders and creepers and skeletons and every possible monster you could imagine. Just much like that, actually. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my lord, what have I gotten myself into? And I sealed it up, and I went through, and I ran like a scared person through the whole build and got out the other side. And it was absolutely worth it. But it was this wonderful moment of just looking down there, seeing a half dozen creepers and skeletons and spiders, and knowing, okay, I've committed myself to running through that now. Good job, good planning. So this is the buried city, or at least this is the top of the buried city. And I think it's probably one of my best builds so far. I just love it. I don't know what it is about it. I've got a couple of screenshots that I use as desktop backgrounds of the giant holding up the statue that I'm just very fond of. And so I'm going to head back to the Roadhouse and probably blather on at you a little bit more. If you've watched this many episodes, you can't mind too much. And grr, yes, I hear you. Grr. The hill goes grr. It's a it's a zombie hill. Hello, zombie hill. Bye bye. Oh, it's Spider Hill too. And yeah, I mean it gets hairy in there, especially if there's no light. I mean, if that hill, you know, when it was originally built, I didn't really have very many torches in there at all, and oh man, it was packed with stuff. The negatives were that, again, there wasn't a very long quest path over to the buried city, but I love the way it looks, and the houses are more like a ruin than like an actual city. Later on, I'll show you, probably a while from now, but I'll show you a build that I've been working on lately that is a lot more like a real city. Naturally, it's abandoned because it's very hard to make a populated city in this game, unless you have 1 million people helping out as NPCs, which is the thought actually, but I haven't done that yet. But next we are going to go to look at another build, and this next build is called the Nether Tower. And it's getting dark, but I'm going over to Christmas Tree Land, so that's fine. So the Nether Tower build is the one that we're going to go see next, and it was really an awful lot of work. And in retrospect, I almost wish I had been clever and used a world edit program or something, but I did not. So anyways, thank you for watching. Why don't we go up and let's end on a sunset, because I love the sunsets in this game. I'm going to run over here and we will climb up our handy dandy Western Roadhouse that Paul was good enough to build. And we will watch the sunset, hopefully, and bid you adieu. So, there's our sunset. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been SRJ26 with Minecraft Quests. Later.